Peace and blessings, respect and honor, beautiful soul. We are back. Let me just say, it has been a stressful season. It's been a stressful, crazy, chaotic season and week and month, and oh my goodness. No one is going to ruin this day. Repeat after me. No one is going to ruin this day. No one is going to ruin this day. If you have to create a post-it note or a memo or a little note on your phone, whatever, but post that somewhere where you can look at it every single day and remind yourself, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how stressful things become, convince yourself, declare and decree that no one is going to ruin this day, because oh my God. So anyway, don't sweat the small stuff, because there's too many big things that are going to affect you and are going to touch you and confront you, challenge you, and change you, grow you, force you to make decisions and do things and be on your grown adult shit. So don't even give energy or breath or life to the small stuff. And don't let anything or anyone knock you off your square. I am Brandi L. Bates. You can find me on Twitter at Soledad Francis or on Instagram at Brandi is Winning. And I'm back talking to you today. We're going to touch on comfort zones, but I want to kind of shed some light on some things, just get you to think, just ask some questions. I'm all about asking quality questions. I believe that it's crucial that we ask quality questions so that we can get quality answers and get quality guidance and quality direction and quality wisdom, right? So, every thought has its own vibrational frequency, and it draws into itself its reflection. Like joins with like, what's wavy joins with what's wavy. What's chaotic is drawn to what's chaotic. And that's just the way science is. That's just life, right? So, as Dickens wrote, this is the best of times and the worst of times simultaneously. It is literally, it's the best of times. Technologically, we are so technologically advanced. We have all the wonderful, beautiful creature comforts that we could ever possibly imagine or dream of or want or desire. But yet at the same time, we have so much stagnation. We have so much murder and war and racism and classism and socioeconomic warfare. We have so much drama, so much going on in the world. You have people just ready to end it all because of financial woes and disease and plague and famine and you name it. But it's literally the best of times and the worst of times. And those in the southern hemisphere are bringing in spring, the vernal equinox, and those in the northern hemisphere, we are bringing in the autumnal fall equinox today. And so we're going to touch on all things regarding the autumnal or fall equinox and comfort zones. Let's talk about comfort zones. And my question would be to you, if I could pose it, what is going on in the world? What the hell is going on in the world? I mean, globally, worldwide, not just in the United States, not just in Johannesburg or in, the United Kingdom, but what the hell is going on in the world? And what is going on, more importantly, within you. What is going on within you? Because, balance is everything. And it's and I say that because we're entering into the sun is entering into Libra, and it's the scales, and it's about balance, it's about MAAT. And you have to observe that as above, so below, in all things, not just mystical, mythical, mystic wise, but in our lives, as above, so below. What's going on globally and socioeconomic wise and world events are often a projection of what's going on in our individual lives personally. So when you have a lot of unrest going on in the world, you have to check your life. It's a call to action to say, let me get my shit together, right? Let me make sure my relationship is whole and balanced. Let me make sure my children are okay, and those who I care about and love are okay and safe and whole and balanced and loved, because life is short and any day I can be taken out of here. So it's a call to action. It's not to say, fuck that shit. They don't affect me or bother me, or, I'm not paying it any mind. Yeah, you do. You have to, it forces you to look at your own personal life and make some changes. Right? Where there is imbalance, it's calling and begging for some balance. So what is going on in the world? And what is going on within you? And what are we being distracted from? Really think about that. What are we being distracted from? Do you understand? Do you understand all of the weapons of mass distraction? And there's so many, they come in the form of mainstream media and, the primetime television shows, radio, sports, football, soccer, basketball, you name it, in all manner of distractions, just random trash TV, not to mention shit that goes on in the city to just kind of get you to just stay on the law, to stay sleep, to stay not asking quality questions, to not question or wonder or think even. So you have to always be asking yourself, what am I being distracted from? Anytime there's a huge astronomical event, such as the autumnal equinox, or the vernal equinox, or the summer solstice, or the winter solstice, or you have a huge historical event, or something occurs on the 33rd parallel, or any of the important ley lines, or any type of historical events that have and hold numerological or zodiacal value and importance to them, it always begs you to just kind of Google, and kind of do your research and just see what's going on here and put two and two together. Because a lot of times, guess what? It's not going to be in a book. It won't be in a book because they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you what's up, what's real, what's going on, So you have to go and search and ask and knock to see que pasa, que pasa, what's going on, right? So the autumn equinox or the autumnal equinox, it's really, a mysterious time. It's a mysterious time. And why? Because the nights going forward until the end of the winter solstice, the nights will be longer and darkness will be longer. There will be more darkness. And I challenge you to think about that, not just geographic wise, but physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, from a heart space. Can you deal with the darkness? Because the darkness, baby, the darkness is coming. But even more important, I would beg you not to even fear the darkness, but to embrace the darkness and learn how to harness and convert that darkness into useful energy. Because one thing's for sure, you're going to experience darkness in your life. You're going to experience it in your family. You're going to experience it at different epics and valleys and mountains in your life financially and spiritually. There are going to be dark times in your life where you lose loved ones and you experience heart-stopping heartbreak. And there will be times, when it's all good, but it's never going to be all good. And guess what? It's never going to be all bad either. So, just a quick little sidebar, footnote on the solstices and equinoxes, even throughout history, historically, classically. Understand that in ancient times, across many cultures, these solar occurrences held immense importance, and they still do among those who are kind of in the know and who the powers that be. They still always plan things and coordinate things around the equinoxes and the solstices, because the solstices and the equinoxes were not celebrated as purely physical events. Okay, historically, they didn't just say, oh, it's September 22nd or September 23rd or, October 25th or October 21st. Why do you think these are big deals? They're big deals. Why do you think there's different events and worldwide current events that happen around these times? Yes, current events happen all the time. Yes, there are always fires and car chases and kidnappings and, but certain events are crucial because they have been coordinated and they mark the beginnings and the endings of things. And they also held enormous ritual and spiritual meaning in many cultures, including yours. If you can peel off some of your, 21st century capitalistic mind and go back and think about what your ancestors did. I think it's really interesting right now. Babe is doing a genealogical thing and tracing the ancestors' DNA, finding out about great grandparents. But I think that's interesting because if you go back and really peel back the veil and peel back the layers, you can find out what your ancestors, and understand your ancestors are still with you. They're still with you. When you look in the mirror, you're seeing your ancestors. Where do you think you got your eyes from? Where do you think you got that hair from? Where do you think you got the shape of your nose, the way you walk, the way you laugh, the way you hold your hand even? Genetics is real. So many cultures held this in high esteem. These were the times to work the rituals and do certain ceremonies to bring abundance and success, or, you wanted fertility, or you wanted, the rains to come. But now we're more sophisticated. So these rituals and ceremonies and things still get worked. They're just worked for different reasons and for different requests. But the life cycle of the sun finds its parallel in the lives of our, solar deities and spiritual figures around the world, and in the mythologies of society spanning time and space. So the autumn equinox stands out as an event relating to darkness and death. Ironically, we're entering into Libra, the scales, and then we're going to enter into Scorpio, which is the dragon, right? Or the scorpion. The sun is now going below the equator, right? The underworld. And so many spiritual philosophies today focus on light and happiness, but it seems to me there is a gap when it comes to understanding darkness and evil. We are forced to deal with the darkness and the shit that happens in the darkness. The racism, the police brutality, the killer cops, the murders, the conspiracies, the war. Oh God, the war, the drone attacks all over the world, in the Middle East, and the famine and plagues and disease and malaria and, drought in some places. You know, if you aren't careful and you just pay attention to CNN and Fox News and what comes on in your little zip code, your little I'm saying stay woke. You want to definitely know what's going on in your neck of the woods, but pay attention to what's happening in the world as well and how it affects you, because basically what happens in China and the cost of tea in China affects you slowly. You know, if you guys are not familiar with the butterfly effect, everything affects everything because we're all interconnected, whether you want to be or not. I wish I wasn't connected sometimes, you know. I don't want to always be connected, but I am connected to you. And so when you go through something, I feel on an energetic level, I feel that. So we're forced to deal with the darkness. And whatever your views, darkness and evil undeniably exist in the world, in others and within ourselves. That's why these past few podcasts, if you'll go back, I talked about the art of war. I talked about spiritual warfare. I talked about the different things that the government and different powers that be, the beasts that controls the beast system that rules the world and puts its tentacles of imperialism on every major landmass, what it's doing. And yet some of you are still acting brand new, like you don't know what the hell is going on. And so understand that the spiritual process involves inner transformation and change of a very tangible and practical kind. Let me tell you something. There will be times in your life, there will be events and things that will happen to you and to your loved ones. It may not even happen to you all the time. It may happen to your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your mother or your sister or your brother or your favorite uncle or your favorite grandmother. And it's going to affect you. It's going to touch you. It's going to make your blood boil, right? Again, it goes back to we're all connected, right? And it's going to force you. It's going to force you to change your ways. It's going to force you to have a transformation, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual transformation. It's going to force you to come out of your comfort zone. And I think that it's important for us to look at times like the summer solstice, the winter solstice, the vernal equinox, the autumnal equinox, because we see the changes and we see the transformation taking place physically. We see the leaves changing, we see the weather changing. It's either getting hotter, it's getting cold, the night is getting longer, the nights are getting darker, and things in our lives are changing. And sometimes the Creator needs to shake us off our shit, right? And sometimes we need to stuff sometimes needs to crumble so we can start all over with a brand new foundation. So it's about changing the way we think and feel and act in the small everyday things of life, right? It's about experiencing something spiritual during the mundane and even during the painful events we go through. It hurts to see police officers killing men and women that look like us. You know, what does that do for you anxiety wise? On some post-traumatic stress syndrome shit, on some just seeing people constantly the onslaught. And I told you guys, I talked about this in the last podcast, you know, the King Alfred plan and the, you know, Rex 84 and the different things that are going to be starting to be enacted and are far in effect. And a lot of us just cannot wrap our minds around the fact that we are at war. And guess what? We do not wrestle against flesh and blood. This war is spiritual. It's spiritual, boo. It's spiritual, baby. It's worked through physical people. It's worked through entities that are in governmental positions and leadership positions and global elite seats. But the mind behind it and the spirit behind it is spiritual. And I've touched on this. And I don't understand why people are still acting brand new. Because I'm not the only one talking about it. You got to be green as a pea. Green as a pea. Kale green. To not see what's going on. And it hurts. It's painful and it's going to continue to happen. But you got to get in a position to understand, okay, why am I being pressured to get out of my comfort zone? Why am I being exposed to this? And why does it affect me? Why does it hurt you? Why do the things that you see, why do you feel some type of way about it? And that's what I challenge you today to deal with. Because some people don't give a shit what goes on in the world. They're it's still, it's all good. They don't care, for whatever reasons. This is a no judgment zone. But it's about experiencing something spiritual during the mundane and even during the painful events. And it's about descending into the darkness. Not to embrace it, but to understand it. And to fight with it, to wrestle with it, to vanquish it, leaving the light of the spiritual in its place. Understand, the seeds of the harvest have to die for future crops to be born. All you can do is sow seed. All you can do is sow seed. Even in business, where are my entrepreneurs? Okay, because I'm an entrepreneur as well. All you can do is pass out business cards, biz dev until you blue in the face, right? Business development. You can go to seminars and conferences. You can network until your feet hurt, right? You can post on social media. You can, try to hire different people to help you, consultants and things of that nature. And you can just work on yourself and your craft and your product and your service and just deliver. As Gary Vee would say, jab, 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 right hook, right? But ultimately, all you have control over is the sowing of the seed. The creator controls the rain. The creator controls whether something will blossom. All you can do is sow the seed. We don't have any control over the embryo and the timing and the way in which it develops, if it develops. And that's for every facet and aspect of your life. In your business, in your family, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. All you can do is sow seed. All you can do. When you have an apple seed, we don't know how many apples are going to come out of that seed. All we can do is sow it, put it in the ground, water it, and hope for sunshine and hope for it to produce and grow and flourish and, give us apples, right? Well, in the same way, a symbolic connection with seeds and wheat and barley has, been retained in many surviving equinox ceremonies. We're talking about autumnal equinox, right? Similarly, the season of death and darkness that begins with the autumnal equinox is reflective of a descent into inner darkness. Just like when you put that seed down into the soil, that seed has to break open. It has to be destroyed in order to bring forth a new life and to grow. And an inner death that also leads to an inner birth. So that's why I said it's the best of times and it's the worst of times. Some terrible shit has to happen to you sometimes, and ironically, that's the best time of your life, because that's what needs to happen to bring forth growth and for you to flourish, for you to come out of your comfort, out of your comfort. And so I always go back to the spiritual element, because again, I'm gonna continue to just hammer in. We are spirit entities having a human experience. We are spirit entities having a human experience. We are spirit first. We are spirit first and foremost. That's why I say beautiful souls, because I see the soul who you really are. Underneath all of the nails and the hair and the nose and the skin and You know, you are a soul having a human experience, spirit. So spirituality is being conscious of reality, because that's the part of you that never dies. That's the part of you that never ever goes anywhere. It just transforms and changes and transforms and changes. I think I talked about that a while ago, how, the trees, they don't really die. Some of them, they'll be struck by lightning, but a lot of times you can look at a tree and that tree can be hundreds of thousands of years old, and it just continues to weather the storms and weather the autumnal equinoxes and vernal equinoxes and summer solstice and winter solstice. And during the fall, it loses its leaves, and when the summer comes, the spring comes, it grows new leaves and grows new fruit and grows new blood, and it just does that over and over. Well, that's what your soul does spiritually. That's what you do spiritually, and that's what you do throughout your life. And you'll keep hitting your head on the same issue until you learn to overcome it. And so much more. You're so much more than your little religion. You're more than the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, the Quran, the Upanishads, Tibetan Book of the Dead. Your faith, sure, your faith is, Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, or Hinduism, Taoism, Baptist, or Pentecostal, or Presbyterian, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, or Jewish mysticism. But your spirituality is none of these and all of these. Isn't that crazy how that works? And spirituality is a person's awareness of their reality, your relationship and involvement with nature, your relationship to the cosmos. That's why I'm always talking about the stars. That's why I'm always talking about the movement of the planetary luminaries. Ask yourself, what is my worldview? What's your worldview? Who shaped your worldview and your relationship to the stars and to the air, to the animals, etc., etc., etc.? How do you know everything you see on the Tell Live Vision is real? How do you even know it's real? Think about that. You're getting worked up over shit. You don't know these people. You weren't there. You don't know what's real. All you have is he said and she said and they said and it was reported. But if you weren't there, how do you even know it's real? How do you know it's real? How can you prove anyone is who they even say they are? Everything affects us spiritually. Energy from the water, the air, even honeybees and butterflies are constantly affecting us. Remember I said the butterfly effect. Look that up. It's real. The butterfly effect is real. Think of the Orisha, the ancestral Orisha, the characteristics of nature. Think about Shango, Ogun, transformation, the god of iron and war, and Yemaya, and think about post-traumatic growth. I remember when I first learned about this concept, and it was striking because it made perfect sense. Post-traumatic growth. It's positive change experience as a result of the struggle with a major life crisis or traumatic event. And that's what's happening to us, my people. Like, if you're listening to this right now, if you're hearing the sound of my voice, I'm speaking to your spirit right now. Like, I'm really speaking through all the bullshit and trying to really, do you hear what I'm saying to you? Growth is coming out of whatever can break you. The seed of who you are, when it goes down into the darkness, you have to break. You have to be broken open in order for you to grow. And that's the essence of post-traumatic growth, in my opinion. The term was coined, post-traumatic growth, the idea that human beings can be changed by their encounters with, life challenges, sometimes in radically positive ways. But it's not new. Post-traumatic growth is the phenomenon of people becoming stronger and creating a more meaningful life in the wake of staggering tragedy, positive struggle, positive struggle in the face of adversity. And just understand that no matter what the struggle is, whether it's you're struggling with your people, your nationality, your race, your on the job, career-wise, in your family, physically, you may be trying to have a child right now. You may be going through a divorce. I don't know, but we're always, encountering different struggles, small and large, but it's your struggle. But understand that out of that is going to come so much positive growth and transformation. And we have to learn to master the tools the ancestors left for us. You have to learn to master the tools your ancestors left for you. And the mysteries are embedded within our DNA. We have to master what is outside of us to bring forth what is within us. Remember those 7 liberal arts: grammar, rhetoric, logic, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy, right? Research the Piso papers, for all the scholars, those who like to really delve and really research shit. How the Roman Piso family created the biblical New Testament. It will open your eyes to the truth behind some of these long-held religious doctrines. But I say that to say, you have to know who the enemy is, and you have to understand that possibly many of the things you've been taught are lies. And again, it goes back to, how do you know what you see is real? How do you know who tells you they are Bill or Joe or Suzanne or Keisha? How do you know that's who they really are? Meaning, how do you know someone's heart? And understand how this system will try to play you. And if you don't do your diligence and look stuff up and research stuff and, ask quality questions for yourself, you'll get fooled every time. Every time. And again, another, we have to get back to the original little 7 liberal arts. And the reason I mention this is because this is a time of disclosure, discovering, uncovering the season we're entering into. And whatever you experience during this time, you can't allow it to taint you or cause you to become cynical in any way. We're coming out of Mercury retrograde, so everything is starting to be on the up and up, right? But one of the things you can do when the energy gets too heavy, too dense and negative, like it is today, because it's been crazy. I don't even want to deal with humanity, but you can go outside, you can remove your shoes and screw in. See, our bodies are like light bulbs, and we need to be connected with the grounding energies of the earth. And sometimes when we get too caught up in CNN and Fox News and social media and work and drama, distractions, stress, etc., we have to be reminded that this too, whatever you're going through, this too, whatever you're seeing, whatever's getting you down, whatever's got you feeling some kind of way, have you in your feelings, this too shall pass. And we control our thoughts and we control our attitude. Don't let CNN or the news or some post on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter affect you and get you in your feelings. Don't even let finances affect you. Even if somebody tells you you're sick, you've been diagnosed with a disease, don't let that get you down. You control your thoughts. You control your attitude. So don't say shit like, well, she made me mad, or he got me, he angered me. I'm pissed because of what he did or what she did or what they said or you control it. Ultimately, you control your attitude and your thoughts. So go outside if you have to. Take a deep cleansing breath. Do a few yoga asanas, downward dog, sun salutations, barefoot. Get barefoot and get your ass centered. Get centered. and walk it out. You may have to go for a long walk in nature. Some of you, have to smoke a blunt. Do what you need to do. This is a no judgment zone. I promise you. I don't judge anyone. If you need to smoke a blunt, go smoke a blunt. If you need to go get a bottle of brown liquor, go get a bottle of brown liquor. Whatever you need to do to get centered, okay? Some of you just need a long hot bath, a steaming cup of hot tea and a foot rub. But we all need a reprieve, and just unplug and clear your mind. And this is of utmost importance because it's a traumatic, transformative time. A time of darkness. We're moving into darkness, and it's always, you're going to feel some darkness coming on you. Yes, this world system is coming apart at the seams. And if you listen to these podcasts, then you're aware and eyes are wide open. So you can't get played like Willie Lump Lump. If you listen to my podcast, there's no reason for you to just be dumb and stuck and looking stupid. Because I put you up on the game they're trying to put on us. And have been trying to put on us. And I'm not the only one. Several of us are just trying to get the message out there, And you have to learn to embrace all the change surrounding our evolution and find the meaning and purpose in the midst of it. The meaning and the purpose for you individually, for yourself, for your family, for your future. And what is it trying to teach you? Everything that's going on in the world, what is it trying to teach you? Don't get too caught up in the machinations, of the global elite or their occult rituals. Don't get too caught up in what the mainstream media hatches for you, for us. They say your life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. But what does that even mean? What does that even mean? I think it was Thomas Edison. He said, we shall have no better conditions in the future if we are satisfied with all those which we have at present. And so let's talk about comfort zones. Pause. Let's talk about comfort zones for a second. The comfort zone, the comfort zone is a psychological state. It's a mental thing. And, which you feel familiar. You're at ease, you're in control, there's low anxiety, there's no stress. And in that comfort zone, it's just this steadiness, right? You can just keep doing what you've been doing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It's when you're in an anxiety neutral position, really, when you think about it. And I'm not talking about, hyper hippie, self-help, polished and spit shine bullshit. I'm not talking about that. Oh, get out of your comfort zone so that you can achieve more. No, I'm talking about real comfort zones and how they affect us, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, subconscious, on the subconscious plane, and the effects of, how the global current events, how they affect our psyche and our actions and cause us. Because today was a really low energy, low energetic, low vibrational day. Not just for black people in America, for white people too. Because even to be a racist, even to be a bigot, even to be, if you're a murderer or a rapist, you have to already be in a low level, low vibrational, dark place to get down on the level to do that. So not only are the victims affected, the perpetrators are affected. Whatever the cause, if you pull a trigger on somebody who has their hands up and they're defenseless and you shoot that person in the back or you shoot that person in the face, you're going to be affected by that. There's going to be a lot of us are desensitized because we see so much murder, we see so much warfare, we see so much hand-to-hand combat and fighting and just, from Bad Girls Club to, watching TV to primetime TV to the news, somebody's always getting stabbed or beat up. And on social media, you're seeing videos of people fighting and getting beat up and their heads are getting stomped in. And we're so desensitized. But this is really, it's traumatic. It's traumatizing. It's traumatizing. And although you may feel like, I'm good, it is playing, it's playing an effect on you spiritually. And so how long are we gonna scream no justice, no peace? Have you ever wondered ponder this, the root cause of us being inundated with racial and socioeconomic violence every year? Notice, if you go back 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012, 2011, and I can go on and on to like 1965, right? Summer of 65. Every year between August and the end of summer, coming up on the autumnal equinox, we're inundated with racial, socioeconomic, meaning it only affects men and women of color, right? Original men and women, and poor people. Because if you're wealthy, you can finance your problems to go away, right? So, but why are we inundated? Why is there always an onslaught of the shit happening between August, whether it's riots or it's just, summers where there's like a mass murderer or, you name it. But between August and the end of summer, which is the first day of autumn, you're inundated with all this racial tension and socioeconomic violence. Violence being acted out on poor people and people who cannot defend themselves. And I challenge you to rethink your comfort zones. And I challenge you to take a sick masochistic embracing of the events, almost, and the occasions and the people that force you out of those comfort zones. And you'll see that as you challenge yourself, your comfort zone adjusts. So what was difficult and anxiety-inducing becomes easier as you repeat it. Remember, this is the season of Libra. Libra scales, balance, MAAT, balance. So you'll find it easier, to brainstorm and harness your creativity going forward amongst all the darkness. It's going to get better. And this is a soft benefit, but it's fairly common knowledge, and it's easily reproducible, that seeking these new experiences and learning new skills because of these new experiences and opening the door to new ideas inspire us and educate us in a way that little else does. And so allow the things to happen in the world. Don't let it harden you. Don't let it make you callous. Don't allow it to make you bitter. Allow it to make you better for it. And let's take this darkness and convert the energy so that we do astronomical, fantastic, phenomenal shit going into the remainder of this year. We got about 3.5 months left, and don't be pulled down by the negativity. Come out of your comfort zone swinging. And that's all for today, folks. I will talk to you next week. Peace, blessings. See you next week.